What's up guys, this is Sharon talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, let's make a full review for the Romancing Festival Sharon banner that brings Sharon, a sort of damage dealer with access to utility, Curtis a healer, and Lara a damage dealer. Well, Sharon is the most interesting character here, but still does not offer too much. Let's start talking about her. Well, the first we have 120% SDR, that's the highest we have in the game right now, and she has 92% agility, that's a very good status as well. She does have higher will than endurance, and she's a very defensive character to be honest. Dexterity is just enough, and we don't have intelligence, love or charisma, they don't really matter much. Moving on for passives, we have safety assurance too. On the start of a turn, she has a 25% chance to trigger herself a damage block that will last for the whole turn, so every type of damage she receives will be 0. She will also recover her HP by around 1002 points of PP. It's a nice thing when it triggers, but it's just a 25% chance to, so good when it happens, not reliable, but will work well for remembrance. Second passive is called the Hidden Lead 2. She starts the fight with 12 BP, and on the end of a turn, if she did not take any sort of damage, she will recover 3 BP. Good thing, when you are farming, you always recover because you will not take damage. And when she triggers her damage block with 25% chance, it will also trigger this because she will not take damage in that turn. So in that specific turn where you trigger the damage block, you will get 5 BP. That's really nice. Then we have Intrinsic Club 4. Well, again, many characters are getting this type of passive. Damage increased by 20%. When attacked by an attack that will cause resist, that means plus 35 resistance to any type of element. She will reduce damage by 40%, and will also have a 37% chance to evade that specific attack. Again, it's easy to bring one character with type of intrinsic passive, but more than one will become a little harder since it's just complicated to equip them all. But, well, she only has 20% damage passes, even though she has 120% STR. Damage may be a little lacking for farming and even for boss fights. Moving on, skill number 1, Double Blow. For 2 BP, you have 2 hits with E power and 8 mod. It's also critical against spawn enemies. It's actually pretty strong. You could say that this reaches similar to 8 power with just 2 BP. Very nice. The second one is called Riveting Revolt. For 9 BP, you have a fast attack that is double S power 48 mod. This is kind of on the start of double S power. And after she attacks, she enters an evasive stance. Guys, this is nice because look, when she enters the evasive stance, that means that she will not take damage in that turn. She will also recover 3 BP. So, 3 normally, then 3 extra. And she's using 9, means that she needs 3 more to use this again. Well, if she triggers her first passive, sometimes you get extra to keep using Riveting Revolt. The damage is not stellar, but you could use her in some formations where she draws more enemy attacks and evade them. That will work. In Remembrance, she can use this against Wuhan. In that turn where the minions try to instant kill you, you can just evade. Well, it may still require some retries because they will likely attack her, but does not guarantee. She's not real tank, she's not counting the enemies. Not just on Remembrance, I can see some utility for this as well. The current boss against Zagor, he has some nuke attacks that are kind of scripted and single target. That means that she could also theoretically be used there. And the last attack is called Hell's Will. For 12 VP, you have a row attack that deals blunt and hit damage with triple S power. But before she even attacks, she casts Morale Up very large, increasing her damage by 40%. This lasts for 4 turns. It's also critical to Bone. This attack will feel like a 4S attack from the likes of Dentard or even Virgil. But there's just one problem here. We have many other row attacks with blunt and heat, especially Proton Rocket Plus, that is widely available in many characters like T260G, Fuse, Talon, so it's an attack with similar damage to other characters that you may already have. But there's one good thing about Sharon, she can inherit from her Global X S style, Resonance Strike. This is a 6 VP 8 power attack that also hits a row of foes, but with just blunt damage, because she will recover 6 VP per turn because of the Hidden Lead passive when farming. She can use Resonance Strike 2 times after using her skill number 3. For farming, it's pretty nice. She will likely solo story stages, but not events. It's not enough to solo events. But she also has Grunt's Land Plus. This is a very nice skill because it has S power 41 mod, that's pretty high, and she buffs her STR by up to 30% before she even attack. That will feel like a double S AoE attack that will likely kill any enemy in any type of formation. So, she only lacks something to use right after Grunt's Land, but she can still at least use Double Blow against events where you have multiple enemies on wave 1 and then a boss on the second wave, but you just have to bring someone to help against the second wave. Besides that, in her first S style there is Blast Heal. This is a very nice skill for Remembrance because it deals damage and recovers her HP by around 1000. And from her first limited style you also have Earth Buster that adds Heat Element, but you cannot use this on turn 1. And Infinite Health. This is actually useful for both Remembrance, and in the case that you already used her skill number 2 5 times, remember that this can only be used 5 times, you will need a single target nuke attack, and that can be Infinite Health. It hits between 3 to 5 times. With 3 hits you are already getting entry level of triple S power. If you get more than that, it's just an extra. So you have your nuker after you use it, all of her Revetting Revolt. With all that said, this character is pretty simple. She wants to build up BP for farming or protect the party by use of damage block. She will self-recover HP here and there, even with inheritance, to survive well. But she doesn't have a damage reduction passive besides intrinsic, and that means that it's hard to equip Sharon or content. Still easy to use her own Remembrance, but on real challenges, besides the evasion mechanic, she will not be used in any sort of real challenges. Hence why I think that it's a character that's very easy to skip. You have other ones that have evasion and block strategies, especially now that we just got a character that can use this, and it's Melissa. Melissa Global X style is very useful because she blocks 1 damage per turn and has much more utility with her buffs. Well, with all that said, I still believe she deserves a double S trade, and sadly it's very easy to skip. There's no future version of Sharon, so you see what she has to offer right now. The only thing you'll see in the future is an Amplify for White Stamp that will become B power with 27 mod. 27 is just 1 point before A power, and she will be able to use this 3 times in a row when farming. On story, may still solo, but for events it will not happen. And the next character is Curtis, and well, he's a defensive mage with healing capabilities. You can see that Endurance and you are on 100%. Those are pretty nice values, and he has 112 intelligence, 97% in agility. It's not really special, but his love is okay. He can heal pretty well. For passives, we have Energy Cure Teaching. This triggers 1 BP by the end of a turn, and he will also recover very small HP. That will be around 220 or something. And when recovery actions are made, he will also recover all surviving allies HP by around 220 and give them 1 BP. This is an evolution of something we saw in the past with Undine and a version of Sacha. Then the second is called Latent Bloom Defense. Attack damage increases by 20%, and on the start of a turn he grants himself a defense up, decreasing damage taken by 10%. This stacks 5 times per battle, so he will just decrease damage taken by around 40% because it's not additive, it's actually multiplicative. And he also has Fired Up 6 to increase damage capabilities by 40%, so he has 60%, has defense passives, and recover 1 BP and heals by the end of the turn. Moving on, we have skill number 1, call it Arrow. For 2 BP we have a B power attack with 24 mod, that's mid-range, and it's random target. So if there are multiple enemies, you don't know who you're gonna hit. If there's only just one boss, it's okay. The second skill is Healing Breath. For 3 BP you have a C power healing spell that also uses 1 LP and will revive and recover around 1.8 thousand on general. And the third skill is Gale Thunder, that was found before on Elicit. This is a 6 BP skill that hits between 2 to 4 times with E power. If you get 2 hits, you get at least A to S power damage. If you get 3 hits, it's just like triple S power. It's slash and lightning, and all hits will have a chance to apply paralyze. So it's okay to paralyze most targets if you want, but the attacks themselves are random. That means that you want to bring him when there's only one enemy available. But he does not scale well with damage, that's just 60% increase, and he does not self-buff or anything besides this. So you bring him for Healing Breath and the random attack Gale Thunder. Because he gets 4 BP per turn, he can actually use Gale Thunder 3 times in a row if he wants, and the heal is always available to him. For Inheritance, we have Shell. This gives a defense boost to a target. This will decrease damage taken by 25%, and it's fast. That means that will protect right after it's casted and lasts for 3 turns. You can cast this 3 times to the same target and keep protecting it. It's okay, but we already have many characters that can apply medium effects to defense without having to just do that to one character. So there's also Tornado Plus. This is a full AoE attack with 10 BP cost, critical against flowing enemies with 8 power. Oh, it could be nice, but he does not have a follow-up with cheap AoE cost. And then Supersonic, that's a stronger version of the AoE attack with 40 mod, so you just have a stronger version for something like Final Island, I guess, but this character really has a very simple design. He can use Gale Thunder and heal, and that's it. There's nothing special about him besides just being very tanky. We have other tanky styles that can heal. I was just talking about Melissa, and again she can be compared to these characters because she is a very tanky character. Although she doesn't have that much endurance, she does have better will. She gets damage block, she also gets 5 defense ups, and she also has intrinsic passive, also self-heals, also boosts will, so she will also be able to heal by inheritance if you do have it, and she also has access to an AoE heal. She also has access to buffs and even this chance to apply evasion. The thing that we have with Curtis that could be interesting is that when he heals, he gives another healing to the party in that 1 BP, but I don't think that is reason enough to bring the character. We already have other BP batteries, and well, you have to use this every turn in order to make any sort of difference in battle so that you get those plus BP. That means that he can do that 5 times, and after that he's locked with only 1 LP. That's a very simple design. Sadly, I think people will only use him by lacking other better options on Remembrance, but on real challenges, unless you can take advantage of this plus BP and you are lacking BP batteries, he is just a very simple character that will only receive an SS- grade, and that's just because he has good status and passives. He's a character with nothing real special to offer that will just be forgotten as the time goes. The last character is Lara, and she is a martial artist that equips elemental weapon. You need to craft the special martial arts with fire imbued for her. She's a spellcaster. Well, she has a focus on agility, intelligence, and even some STR because she has access to normal martial arts skill as well. She suffers from low endurance and will, and has average values for love and charisma. Going for passes, we have Bad Temper. Attack damage increases by 30%, and when she's attacked, she has a 37% chance to evade enemy attacks. And when she lands an attack that defeats a target, she will cast Fira. We will talk more about that later, and that skill will only be used on rank 1. By a penalty, she loses 1 LP on the start of battle. Barely affects, and well, you didn't need that. The second one is called Breath of Repose 3. On the end of a turn, if she did not take any damage, well, she will recover HP by 1000 and then recover BP by 3. That's the same thing with Sharon. And then she has Fired Up 7, increasing damage potential by 40%. She has access to a total of 70% damage increase at all times. She can evade the enemy attack and then trigger the second passive, but that's not like Sharon that will block everything in a specific turn. She has 37% chance to evade on each hit, so not as good. Going for skills, we have Flying Knee Kick. This is a normal martial arts skill that's free and has C power with 15 mod. That's very strong for free, right? But it's just based on agility and STR. The second skill is Fira. This is a double S power skill with 6 BP, but it's random. Like most skills from this banner, it's strong when you only have one enemy, but if there's more than one enemy in battle, this is hard to use. Then we have Fire 2 for 10 DP. This is again a single target attack. This time it's 4S power. That's actually pretty powerful, and it was changing in global to be 10 DP. And when used on farming setups, she can actually open with Fire 2 and then use Fira right after, because she would just not take damage in that turn. So I know that she's going to kill enemies with this triple S power attack, but I'm not so sure if she will kill the enemies with Fira, because that is just double S power. In story, it will likely work. She will solo some content. In events, unlikely. But at least the first wave, if there's just one enemy, she will be able to kill. So that's kind of her main gameplay. To use Fire 2 to open with strong damage, and then keep using Fira when she has access to 6 BP, or then just use Flying Knee Kick. As for inheritance, we have plenty. There is a Scuffle. This is a 13 BP skill that has 4S power with 82 mod, but she can only use this on turn 2. So, may not be the best case scenario. There's plenty of blunt damage. There's not as many for heat, so Scuffle could be used, but more about farming or events. Then there is also Heat Swirl. This is a deep power attack with only 1 PP cost that has a chance to debuff the enemy agility. Her agility and intelligence are pretty high, so she can work as a debuffer. It's just that we have plenty of agility debuffers, and enemies are using the 5 weaknesses more often. That means that she may not even work so well, but it's a good inheritance option for when it works. Mind Blast is too weak for the cost, so I don't think this will be useful at all. It's all about Heat Swirl and Scuffle. I think that the character is lacking some sort of utility. She just has these skills that are locked into random targets, unless you inherit Scuffle that is just locked into a single foe. It's harder to use Lara besides the farming scenarios, but at least it's not much of a competition for the heat element, I guess. But the character does not offer too much. It's a design that you see more often, where characters get PP by not being attacked, and the skill rotation here is only good for single target. It's a character with a very limited design, sadly, and Lara will just get a normal double S trade by raw power, but sadly will also be easily forgotten since what she offers cannot be used for real challenges, unless you have nothing else in your build. Or, well, also for serious challenges where you have to bring specific characters, and she may be your best option, but still a very skippable character. Now back to the banner image. Is this banner worth summoning for? In my opinion, no. It has one of the worst values we ever seen in a banner. It will receive a Bronze Minus award, and that is the worst award I have ever given in my reviews as of recently. Because, well, we have Sharon, a character that is mostly used for that evasion build, and we can replicate that with other characters. Curtis is a very defensive healer that just has a gimmick to give extra very small healing and 1 BP to the party, and can only use this 5 times. Very limited. Lara has good damage potential, but is locked in random targets, and, well, there's just more options in the future that will just make you forget that these characters even exist. I don't think there's much value here for veterans or even newcomers. You should easily skip this banner, and, well, these characters don't matter much moving forward. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Please say here on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't, and if you want to support the channel, there are links in the description. I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye.